Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Yes, I'm still on the Yongjiang River walk, but I thought I'd redo a video. The first video that I ever did on my YouTube channel is how I met my wife, Wei Fong. Yes, and I was wearing a shirt and I buttoned it up all the way to the top, sitting in my little place in Nanaimo, British Columbia. Oh yes, and you could tell I was nervous, and I had a mono mic. So although you could hear it, but you could only hear it in one ear. It sort of came off a little bit lame, and I thought I've always wanted to redo that video and just sort of tell you how I met my wife, how she got to Canada, and how we got to where we are today. Well, it started off with about 6 months before I met Wei Fong. I was working at Northern Collection Agencies for a guy named Henry, and when I wasn't doing my job, I was sort of floating around the internet, and I come across this obscure little Chinese wanna marry a foreigner page. Yeah, so I, being the red-blooded little Canadian boy I was back then, I thought, well, I'm gonna take a look at this. There's possibilities, because I'd been in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan for, I don't know, a number of years. I think I was divorced for like 14 years, and there was no women in Prince Albert that I was even remotely interested in. You got to go to Prince Albert to understand what I'm talking about, guys. Anyway, so I found this cute little girl on the thing, and I thought, ooh, there's an email address. So I figured, yeah, I'll just email this little girl. Okay, well, one thing led to another after a whole bunch of correspondence. Little did I know that it was through a matchmaking company, a small one, mind you, an obscure one here in Nanning, that every time I sent her an email, and she would have to have it translated. So I'm talking to the translator more than I'm talking to her. Well, that's fine. So by the time it was all said and done, she was into this translator company for about 4,000 RMB. Yeah. So anyway, so I was going to come see her in August or in July, and her mom said, no, it's got to be in August because 08, then it's lucky. Yeah, well, actually, I believe it now. I didn't believe it then. And so we meet in the airport with a translator, of course, and I lean over, I'm going to give her a little peck on the cheek, and she runs away. I thought, oh fuck, that's over. But then we got in a taxi and we came into Nanning and went out for breakfast. Because I got here in the morning. I ended up in Hong Kong and came in around noonish. Anyway, so then they dropped me off at the Taoyuan Hotel on Taoyuan in Nanning. So I'm sitting there all alone and thinking, I guess it was fun while it lasted. Lo and behold, about 2 hours later, I hear this knock at the door, and here she is with her little overnight suitcase, and she's coming to stay with me, I guess. That was okay. I was thinking, giggity, giggity, giggity. Oh yes, I was, because I was younger back then, and that's just the way us Canadian boys think from the north. And cute little Chinese girl. What are you gonna say? No. So one thing led to another, and we said, okay, well, sure, we like each other, and it was mostly petting for the first while, because she couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Chinese. Well, that's fine. Okay, so fast forward, we get a ticket and go up to Beijing and try for a visitor visa. Back up a little bit too. My brother at that time was a retired immigration officer and he knew a lot about China and the Chinese immigration system. Yeah. So when we went to Beijing, we sort of knew the questions that were going to be asked, and we planned our attack right down to the minuscule word. Yes. And she actually got a visa to come to Canada. Once she was on Canadian soil, we decided, well, so I was here for 2 weeks in China. So got here August 1st, we went back August 14th, and both of us were sitting there drinking Tim Horton's coffee and eating donuts August 14th in the Vancouver airport. Well, yeah, and you guys know that anybody that's tried to get a lady out of China, you know how special that is. Okay, so yeah, you fast forward another 2 weeks and we decided, well, let's get married. So we extended her visa for 2 years. We put in a spousal application from within Canada. Now the Canadian government can't kick her ass out of Canada until they've made a decision, and that's usually 9 or 10 months. I think it took 10 months for them to make a decision. Okay, well, they said they made the right decision because she's still with me, and we're still married. So they did make the right decision. 16 plus years, we're still together. But the idea that she was a famous liar and said, oh, if we decide that we're going to get married, we'll go back to China, get married, and then go through the immigration. No, no, no. Once you're on Canadian soil, if you put in an application, you're pretty well there till it's over. And if they say no, 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 then you can appeal it, and you're there till the appeal's over. And because my brother was immigration at that time, and I knew a fair bit about immigration, and ended up getting into being an immigration consultant in Canada. Once she was on Canadian soil, there was no way we were going to lose that puppy. So fast forward 16 plus years, we're still married, we're still doing what we do, and it was a good decision. It was the best decision I've ever made. So not working for Henry at one point, one afternoon, I think it was a Friday afternoon, and surfing the internet changed my life. So if anybody out there says a minute or two can't change your life, you know, take my word for it. It can change your life. Did I say she was a famous liar when she went into the immigration thing? Oh yes, I've never seen a Chinese girl lie so much in my life. But that's another story. We'll make a video about that. So when we went to Beijing, we made it a fun trip. We hit Gugong, the Forbidden City. We went to the tombs of the emperors. We went to the 400-year-old barbecued duck, Peking duck restaurant. Yeah, that had been sitting in the same place for 400 years. We did it up good. We had hotel rooms with floor-to-ceiling windows in the front, and it's starting to rain out here. Yeah, we had it. We did it up good. Little did she know, she thought I was rich. Well, yeah. See, I had $26,000 in the bank when I went over to meet my little Chinese girlfriend. And by the time I got back, after getting her airfare and going to Beijing and flying over and all of the things that I had to do to get Wei Fong back to Canada, yes, I had $6,000 left in my bank account. So getting her back to Canada damn near drained my bank account, and she hasn't said thank you once yet. She's listening to me make this video. So anyway, so the idea is that I was willing to take a risk, and she was willing to take a risk too. Just think about it. Here's a Chinese girl that doesn't speak English, and she's getting on an airplane to go to a country she's never been to with a guy that she's only known for 2 weeks. A leap of faith? Oh, it worked out good, but it could have worked out terrible for her. You know, I could have been some dumb dick from frickin', I don't know, Canwood. Yeah, I said it, Canwood. I could have been, you know, some perv or whatever, and then where would she be? Yes. Oh, and on the other hand, I could have brought over a Chinese girl who was a gold digger and married her in Canada, and she could have taken me for a freaking ride. Oh no, she couldn't, because I only had $6,000 left in my bank account and a $60,000 mortgage on a property worth about $85,000 at that time. So we were both in the same boat. We were both of us were not very wealthy. I had more opportunity than she did because yeah, it's just the way it is. But the thing is that, so we sort of regrouped when we got back to Canada, and we made our lives what we wanted them to be. So marrying Wei Fang was probably, not probably, was one of the best decisions, was the best decision of my life. And I don't regret it. I never have. And even through these last couple of years that have been tough, yeah, we just take it in stride, and life is like that. Throws you lemons sometimes. Make lemonade, man. But it's been a good ride, and hey, I'm loving it. And I'm in China. Is that brandy? You got it. It is. And later on tonight, I think I'm gonna go to Walmart and grab one of their Chilean Merlots for supper. Oh yeah, and supper is going to be pig's feet. Yes, pig's feet and veggies and rice. Oh yeah, but you see, these pig's feet are different. These pig's feet are pig's feet that we buy at the train station area of town, and they're done in such a way that they are scrumptious. So red wine and pig's feet, I think they go together. There's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button, and thanks for watching. Hit the bell. Don't forget to hit the bell. And as everybody knows by now, at the end of each of my videos, I'm plugging that Patreon for the kids. The rural kids of China need your help, and we've taken it upon ourselves to see if we can do some good. So throw a couple bucks into the Patreon account. Thanks for watching. Bye now.